This is a wonderful way to start this. This is Brotique. Okay, welcome everyone to Cosplay Photo Brotique. Welcome to our weekly fantasy football podcast. Thank you for everyone for joining. Uh, yeah, this was just a wacky start.
Oh boy.
So, we've got this week, since Sarah is still in Japan having more fun than all of us combined.
Wow, must be nice.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
So
Thanks for the invite, by the way.
yeah, subbing in, we have Mason Hikari on
It's me, guys. Soraro
Hey,
Dave.
Mason Hickory.
on my left. Yeah, left. Okay, cool. And then David or Sono Photos on my right for this awesome Brotique. Thank you both for coming on and joining us.
My pleasure, dude.
Sarah from the chat says that she hates us, so I mean, you know,
That's fine.
doing
Much
what
like
we
everyone
can
else in
do.
my life.
So it's awesome having you guys on. You guys both have been shooting cosplay for less time than me, yet you are both better than me at this point, which is just insulting. You guys need to fucking stop it. So
no. I will take over.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, so welcome to this fun episode. This might be a bit wackier than normal, but you know what you signed up for. Come on. You expect anything less at this point?
Dude. Monster trucks.
Turns out Sarah was the only thing holding this podcast together.
Pretty much. She was the voice of reason.
Now
it's just gonna be yeet jokes.
Oh God, no! Please,
Oh yeah,
please.
Yeets and dabbing.
Oh, it's like 2015 right in here. So I was gonna say, right at the start of the podcast, I want to thank Faku and Kaze Mike for the subs, both continuing subs. Awesome on you guys. Faku calling me a loser for 6 months in a row with his sub message. So
6 months.
I'm pretty sure he said loser with every sub. So that's certainly a train he's going on. So let's get into a bit of an introduction for both of you guys. Let me hit the right button. So I don't know how I'm doing the guest showcase quite correctly this time, considering there's two of you. That's hard. I had questions. So I think I'll start off with David, considering you haven't, like, Neil, you've kind of gone through this process already. If people have watched previous episode, you're old news is what I'm saying.
I am old news.
I'm the upgraded version.
But David, so let's give us a little bit of history about you. How long have you been shooting cosplay, and kind of what got you into it?
Shooting cosplay since 2016, Anime Boston, or I'd say Katsucon more so. Yeah, big wow. I kind of got into it.
Wow.
I kind of got into it just because I had been going to cons for a few years, and I was more, I don't know, I just wanted to somehow get more involved, and that was my way to do it. Introduced me to a lot of people. It's fun. I learned a heck of a lot since. Yeah, it's really just fun as heck, even though I'm kind of burned myself out this year, but
I mean,
you live and you learn.
I mean, I feel like that's the inevitable. Like,
yeah.
we
try to do too much.
We all have a period of burnout.
Yeah.
Oh no, I forgot.
That's me right now.
Yeah,
I'm burnt out as we speak.
We're getting that sweet video footage. Hi. Oh man, I think I missed it. But yeah, no, I haven't been to a con since Colossal Con, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I'm kind of like getting over my burnout, and like ready to go back to a con and start shooting again, because it's been like, I've done location shoots, but it's been a while since I've shot at a con, and I'm like ready to get back into it.
Katsucon.
So Neil, give us the abridged version, I would say, how long you've been shooting and how you got into cosplay photography.
All right, so I have been shooting cosplay photography since late this late 2016. I want to say that was my first ever cosplay shoot. That was an on-location shoot. First con was Katsu 2017. So a little over a year shooting cosplay. And the way I got into it was because someone asked me to. And that's pretty
You just
pretty
got
much it.
guilted into cosplay photography, like, I guess.
Yeah, they're like, can you do this for me? I'm like, I mean, I guess. And it's funny because my first cosplay shoot was a Naruto shoot, specifically with Haku and Zabuza. And now I understand the impact of those two characters. And I'm like, wow, this was a really depressing shoot.
Yo,
I want to shoot it again though.
Seneca, thanks for that Twitch Prime sub. Appreciate it. Props.
Yes, thank you, Seneca.
Stop.
You mean the world famous Seneca?
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't know? Okay, I have other questions. I'm gonna do a shortened guest segment because otherwise we're gonna be here all fucking night. We're not even gonna get to the photos.
What's the plan anyway?
Also, during this question, apparently I have to go get a baseball cap because I am apparently missing out.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, you're the weird one here.
Oh man, I guess I'm gonna have. I think I'm gonna have a baseball cap delivered. That's awesome. Let's see here. I had questions. What are questions? David, describe a little bit about your shooting style. How do you like to go about setting up your photos? Do you plan beforehand, or you just kind of go and do it blind, and do you figure out on the spot? And is there specific things you look for in a shot?
Big ol' spray and pray. No, I'm just kidding. I do some pre-planning. I try to pre-plan for like every single shoot.
Head.
Pre-plan?
Oh god. Oh yeah. No, this one's the best.
Are you good, bro?
You good? Ooh, is that a bedazzled hat?
Hold on. Let me see this.
It says king.
Damn.
You should wear that to cons now. That's gonna be your identity. Do it, or you're a coward.
Okay. Sorry, David. Didn't mean to.
No problem.
Cut you off like that.
So I do pre-plan quite a bit. I try to before everything because I don't want to go in totally clueless. But I also always end up definitely doing some just stuff that I come up with on the spot as well. Trying to think of specific things I look for in a shot. Lately I like a lot of a lot of negative space. I don't know. Other than that,
You're just like,
that's
oh,
it.
like
Just
I
negative
do the
space.
photos, I guess. Mhm.
What about color
I mean,
grading?
I don't really. I guess I don't. I haven't worked out a specific workflow yet. I feel like
It's funny because I feel like there's definite things about your photos that I can like identify that a photo is your photo.
Oh, really?
I feel that absolutely the same way about Neil's photos. So you guys both have a very distinct style. Neil, you just look for the overlays and you're just like, got them.
Yeah, pretty much it.
Those flawlessly placed overlays.
Yeah. Neil, how about yourself? Do you have a kind of a way that you go about your photos? Anything you look for when you're taking a photo?
So I want to say that generally whenever I do a shoot, there's some planning going into it. So what I like to do is with certain people, I'll have them send me reference material like photos or other things like that just to get an idea for the shoot. During the shoot though, I actually have a shot list. So I'll just kind of go through like the basic stuff like, oh, what's my favorite one? Do this pose. It's like the hand up here for all anime girls. It's that. You just do this. Or this, the hot dog hand.
Hot dog hands.
Do that.
Let's not bring that up on the stream. The stream's got a very specific feeling towards hot dog hands or a specific name.
When you do the hand thing and you gotta clench and then unravel. There you go. We can add an overlay into there right now.
Oh God.
When it comes to like, I guess editing, I've been leaning more towards cinematic color grading. So things like blues in the highlights, oranges in the shadows, or vice versa, and overlays. I just put overlays on everything.
Yeah, I've been trying a lot with cinematic color grading too.
I've just been trying. That's all.
I'm trying.
I'm just trying, man.
Yeah, I feel like it's hard to I really should start doing a shot list. I feel like that would be super helpful.
Yeah, that's pretty smart.
Yeah.
I don't do that either.
I kind of did that less. The last shoot I did, I had a bit more like references than I usually do going into it. And in some ways that helped, and in some ways it hurt. Like I think what we really needed to do in that scenario was like, instead of like having like a butt ton of photos in a folder of like, here are potential things, instead, if I'm gonna do that, I think I should just like narrow it down to like, here are the images that we should emulate. Thank you, Sororio Days Senpai, for stopping in.
Wow, can't believe the world famous, internationally published Soraro Days is here. Crazy.
All the way from Japan. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it.
Crazy.
Let me see if I have any other questions, or if I should say we've spent enough time in this segment. Probably the latter, but yeah. Yeah, that's probably good. That's probably good for you. Actually, last one I will leave it at is what are you guys' next cons that you're planning on attending? David, I'll start off with you.
Katsu Swan. Katsu Swan's my next con,
Neil?
and then
Unless you have more.
Colossal Con East. That's all I only have two. I only have two planned for next year.
Neil?
Anime NYC. That's like in a week.
Ooh.
That's literally next week.
I still have to go through BlizzCon photo.
I mean,
Rip.
I mean,
Forever
can't even
backlog.
talk to me about backlog, so like, okay.
Yeah, I just finished AUSA. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Are you sure?
No, I thought for some reason I said Katsu is my next one, and I was like, oh right, Mag is next. And then I'm like, wait a minute. No, I said Anime New York City.
Today is Thursday.
You're just like,
November 8th.
like, where am I?
Yeah,
I don't.
basically,
What am I doing?
I was also just reading the chat.
Yeah, no, it's hard when you're just.
Yeah,
like,
I'm reading the chat a lot.
Yeah, you're
too.
doing for me, I've got like 3 screens. So I got OBS. Then right now it's you guys, but usually it's photos. And then on the left it's chat. So I'm doing like the all the time and just like feeling lost. Okay. Let's you guys ready to critique some photos?
I'm ready to jump right in, dude.
Awesome. Let's do some photo critique.
All right, let's jump right in.
Oh, that's what we're here for? I thought we were.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
Are you gonna? I thought you were gonna like hold up a paper that said like "help me" in the background for a second there. I was just like, what are you? You try to be like, save me,
I
cry for help in the background.
Oh, you're serious about it.
I mean, hey, I'm wearing it, or should I wear it like the David way?
God, you look like an old man.
Oh God.
All right. Goodbye. Have a great time, guys.
Oh, there goes the hat.
Oh.
Wait, Neil. Now you're not matching.
There.
With what?
No, I put it back on forward. We're all good.
Oh, okay.
We're all good. It's perfect. So I should do the regular things before we go in this. So if you want to submit a photo for next critique, I will post the submissions link in the chat. Same as always. Next week, or not next week, next critique will not be themed, so don't worry about, if you have to match a theme for it. Seneca, the stream is on the Facebooks, but you should watch it on Twitch and not Facebook, because Facebook's for losers. No, just Facebook stream sucks. Like literally, it's bad. But yeah, so there's that. Trying to think. We don't know the date of the next critique. It's probably going to be sometime this month. I just don't I just don't know right now. Kind of been waiting for Sarah to get back from Japan so we can actually like plan shit out for it. I haven't really been worrying about it. So I don't have a hard date, but know that it's happening sometime. I post a link if you have any guest suggestions for upcoming streams. Always looking for suggestions there. And right off the top, if you enjoy what the hell we're doing here, consider subscribing, especially if you've got Amazon Prime or Twitch Prime. I'd really appreciate it if you used your Prime sub here. If you not or you don't want to do that and you feel like donating, that's awesome too. But once again, totally not a thing that I expect anyone to do. Just putting it out there.
Twitch Prime is free, and it doesn't auto.
Twitch Prime. If you have Amazon Prime and you're not subbing to anyone, like you should really do that. Even if it's not me, like use your Twitch Prime sub, because otherwise it's just like money that's sitting out there that could be used to help someone. So not even me. Just like go help your favorite streamer or something. Pity subs. Okay, let's do these photos. The first 9 are part of our Brotique. We had a fair amount of people who submitted photos that didn't either submitted early, so it wasn't in the theme or anything like that. Or just, we wanted to include those still too, just because we didn't get like a ton for the Brotique as well. So the first 9 will be part of our Brotique, and then we'll take a intermission. It'll come back, and we will do the rest of the photos that were submitted. So don't worry. Every photo that's got submitted for this time will end up being included in the critique, just because we had the space to do it. So that's awesome. That works out. Yeah, let's get into this.
Let's get her done.
Okay. This first photo is from Con Mom Photography.
Y'all good over
Well. Okay.
I'll start off.
Yeah,
here.
David. Yeah, I was gonna say what.
I think I really don't have too much to say. I actually really like this shot. I like the composition. I like how it's at the rule thirds. You got the waterfall in the background. Pose is good. The only thing I guess I could say is I wish the leaves would have been like a little warmer so they wouldn't be so like distracting from the subject. But really, other than that, I think it's a pretty solid shot.
Yeah, it's one of those shots that it's. I don't mean this in a negative way. There's very little offensive about it. There's nothing that like there's nothing like shouting to me like this is amazing, but there's also like nothing that is like I can clearly say, oh, fix this. It's all really minor things. So I think it's a pretty dang solid image.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I want to kind of bring up is I feel like with this image in particular, color grading would really help it, I guess.
I would agree with that.
Putting some colors in the highlights and the shadows.
Yeah.
It's as Andrew, as you said, it's a very inoffensive image.
Yeah, it's hard because I feel like calling it that is not quite doing it justice. I think the biggest thing right now is like tonally the values on Bakugo feel very similar to that in the background. I think if you could like darken the background a little bit, just kind of allow him to pop out a little bit more, I think this image would work a lot better. Something Mallow's bringing up in the chat, which is an interesting thought, is that I'm not sure if I totally agree, but I like her thought is that the expression doesn't quite look genuine to her. Like the mouth looks good, but the brows don't feel quite furrowed enough to seem that genuinely angry look.
Like
And
he's
Yeah.
super into it.
yeah, and I
That's
kind of
not, yeah.
I kind of agree. Like, I feel like there's a strong base there, but it could kind of be even stronger. That said, that still doesn't particularly bother me. Here.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that till she said that.
Yeah. But that's not necessarily on the photographer themselves, because
Yeah.
when it comes,
Not at
I'm
all.
assuming for cosplayers, whenever they want to do poses or have poses in mind, they kind of practice them first for the most part, if they really want to get into character for a shoot.
Mhm.
And I think Alex brought it up that he's not really a cosplayer, I guess. So maybe this was like his first attempt, or
Well, shit, if this is your first attempt at cosplaying, and you
No,
did good. Shit.
I just don't think he cosplays too often. He's definitely cosplayed
Okay.
before, but he's
Okay.
not like a seasoned
Yeah.
cosplayer.
Yeah, posing's hard
Come on.
too. Like, fuck.
Come on.
This is his second costume, apparently. That's yeah. Oh, something I forgot to do before this, and so because we've got that, I built my friend built the new submission form for me. We now have the ability to share full res images. What that means for now is that I can share my OneDrive link to you guys so that you can see the images in full screen.
Oh, that's
Um,
cool.
ooh,
That's really cool.
the images, they're purely for the critique purposes. So ideally in the future, I'm gonna figure out a way to upload them to like a website, maybe even just like Flickr, so that you guys can see them in full resolution without actually having to like open them on a OneDrive link. That feels a bit clunky, but for now, this is the solution I have. If you guys have any suggestions for me on maybe what to do in the future there, I'm all ears, but this is what I got for you for right now. So if you want to see the images in full resolution, I just put the link in chat. So yeah. Okay.
All right.
Any other thoughts on this one?
no, I think we're all pretty much.
Yeah. The
Done
more I look at it, the more the green color bothers me too.
Yeah, that's the
just
major
a
thing
bit
for me.
I think even if it was just a little less vibrant.
Yeah, like brought down the saturation a smidge or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. So we agree. It's like color grading would really
Yeah.
help
Yeah.
this photo.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
think
more.
color grading with any photo though, that like
Yeah.
can really take an image to the next level.
Cool. Then let us move on to the next shot. This one is from Spaz by Design Photography. And Neil, I believe you're leading us off on this one.
Yes, I am. Thank you for that, Andrew. So, okay. So, right off the bat, I have no idea what this is from, but I
I don't
really
either.
enjoy, like, I guess how this image is and like how it presents itself. It's very spooky right off the bat. Um, a couple things that bother me would be the log coming out of the character's head. It's
Yeah.
very distracting and it makes them look like a pumpkin.
Oh my god,
I
it
didn't
does.
even think of that.
I didn't even like
Oh my
realize
God.
Like
that.
Halloween.
Yeah, that's one of those things that's pretty easy to fix too. Just you can clone stamp that
Yeah,
out
it would be
relatively easily.
especially because the like background is pretty much pure white. That'd be a super easy
Yeah.
clone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Another thing I'd like to point out, I'm not really sure if this pose is like related to wherever this is from. It looks a little stiff though. I feel like shooting this at a different angle would help. Not a Dutch angle, but a different angle.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I I really dig all the like logs coming up out of the ground. It's just such a weird location.
It's
That
Colossal East.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is.
Okay. I mean, without context of that, I could think this could be anywhere. Like, it just feels
Yeah.
so random and weird location wise. Like
It really works for the shot.
yeah, it makes it's kind of like with this character here, it just kind of adds to that unsettling feeling.
Yeah.
I think that's actually what this photo does really well. I think I didn't have the word for it before. It's unsettling.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just it's kind of sitting there in the uncanny valley for me, which is a good thing for this shot at least.
Yeah. So Sarah's saying that this is pretty tame for this character, so I assume he gets pretty violent. So I think maybe having the shovel like higher in the air or something. 'Cause if he was like about you like smack you with it or
I'm
something,
not
that would be
even
cool.
gonna joke. I only just noticed the shovel this
Oh,
second.
really?
Yeah.
It does kind of blend in a little bit. With the
I
log flume.
don't know how I totally missed that. That's crazy.
But yeah, I like the color grading here. I like how it's kind of like desaturated, and even how the scarf is like brought up a little bit. I do like that. Helps you bring your eye to the cosplayer.
Yeah, you even have that little I guess that light leak coming in from the right. It's like very subtle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like how
Also,
subtle it is
orangey
here.
red.
I think if
yeah.
it was any stronger, it wouldn't work in this photo, but it's subtle enough to work here.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Yeah, other than that, I don't really think I have much else to say. I think
Yeah,
it's pretty solid.
I think it's just the pose.
Yeah.
If what everyone in the chat is saying is true, I guess this character actually does do something else other than stand there like this.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the number one thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's weird because I feel like this is the kind of shot that you know, knowing that you're going for spooky, uncomfortable, uncanny, it works perfect and is very outside the realm of photos we normally get submitted. Like any other character, I think in this setting shot like this would be really weird and not work, but it just works
Just like
really
wouldn't
well.
make sense. Over
Yeah.
here, yeah, it works really, really well.
Cool.
Mm,
Any other thoughts on this one before we move on to the next shot?
Not from me.
I think we're good.
Okay.
Covered all the bases.
Yep.
Let us move on to the next one. Okay. This one is from Flashcord Photography, or Flashcord Photo. I added more to that word than there was actually there. I really, really dig the mood and the color grading on this shot.
The color grading here is solid. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I
Mhm.
maybe wish it were a little bit darker to match the mood of the Nier Automata game. I feel like at least I felt like from playing it, the game felt a little bit darker than this shot. Like this feels just maybe a bit bright in relationship to that. However, like the colors and just the overall mood that this shot is giving me feels super reminiscent of the game.
Pushed on my lap.
And that works awesome.
Oh, that was so cute.
Oh man, it wasn't even
Well,
it wasn't even shown on stream because I was full screening the photo. That's such a bummer.
Well,
Oh
the
man.
cat was like clawing my legs. I was like, Nicole, bring me a blanket so he doesn't make me like bleed out.
Nicole, bring me a blanket
Bleed out
before I
on
come back.
stream.
Bleed out on live
Well, at least it
Twitch.
would be on video, so you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, really, I feel like my negatives on this image are pretty limited. Um, so the one thing that's driving me nuts here is the small patches of his actual hair I can see. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
yeah,
couple
it's
times.
to me it
Yeah.
just like it really makes it feel like the wig's not working here. Like I immediately read it as a wig because we get the bit of hair peeking out underneath his right ear, above his left ear, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of like to the side. There's just like a ton of areas where it's just peeking through, and it's enough.
Just like hello.
I think especially because like compared to like white hair with like dark brown, it's like super clear to me that it's a wig
Yeah.
that's being worn.
Yeah.
And that's in some areas this would be a pain to fix. In some areas it should be a pretty easy retouch. So I would say try and give it a little effort to fix that. Um, if it were me, I would also probably try and lighten the eyebrows a little bit to make them match the not quite match, but feel a little bit more cohesive with the wig.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I've got a couple more thoughts, but I want you guys to jump in first.
It, the only thing that I was gonna say, which I agreed with you, is I wish that it was just a little bit darker, maybe a little more contrast, or just bring the blacks down. I mean, other than that, I didn't even notice the wig. But maybe one thing that could have been looked out for was the his necklace. It looks like it's cut off by the coat. I don't know if
Oh
that's
yeah,
supposed to be visible or not. Um, but really, I
I'd
can't
imagine
really,
so.
yeah, I can't say many negative things. I really, really dig the color grading here. Um, I think it's a really good shot.
Yeah, it's solid. Um, couple extra thoughts here. Um, One, there's just a little like there's a little bit of like either dust or something that's get a little white specks on
Oh, on
his
the coat.
jacket.
Oh yeah. I was
Yeah.
gonna bring that up.
Yeah, I would just clean those up. Like those should be real easy fixes.
There's a healing brush. Just click, click. On.
Yeah. Um, I know the text is made to kind of emulate how it is in the game, but man, I would really love to see that instead of with the kind of like
Drop shadow.
drop shadow. I would love to see this with the text being just white.
Oh yeah.
I
Mhm.
I, I
I think that
think it
would.
would feel graphically a lot stronger.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it would. It's not going to match up to the game quite as well, but I'd take that because I just think it would graphically read better.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I know Mallow is mentioning that this would be a good chance to venture into curves, as she says. Give the photo a bit more depth
Yes.
that way.
I agree.
Yeah.
um, cool. Any other thoughts on this one?
Not for me.
I
No,
just like the more I
we're
look at
moving through
it,
these pretty fast, actually.
what?
We're moving through these pretty
Hell
fast.
yeah,
Like,
hell yeah. We gotta make up. We gotta make up. I mean, we're 45 minutes, technically, including the 10-minute warm up.
Oh,
We're
yeah, true.
45 minutes in, and we're on photo 3. So I mean,
You got some catching up to do,
yeah, we
guys.
gotta go a little fast. um,
Zoom, zoom.
uh, I was gonna say though, the more I look at it, the more I really dig the background because you get that kind of you just barely see the buildings in the background, and it kind of takes a little bit of like looking at the image to I feel like digest that, and I really like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love bokeh, so.
Who
I
doesn't?
love, I love.
I
Boca.
love Boca.
This image is bokeh-licious. Certified bokeh-licious.
Stop it.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Stop that right now.
Okay. Let's go on to the next photo before this gets weird. Okay. This next shot is from Elizabeth and David. Do you want to lead us off here?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I will gladly lead you off. So I think again,
Nice.
this is a good portrait. The couple things I guess I would have liked to see is maybe the one thing that really bothers me is that her elbow is just barely cut off here on the right side of the image.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe if you would have stepped back like just a foot or something like that, you would have got the whole whole person in there, and I would have, or whole upper half in there, and I would have liked that a lot better. But other than that, I really like it. I like the colors. I like how saturated it is. I think it works for the shot. Um,
The purple
Yeah.
greenish yellow combo is not something I would expect to work, but it works pretty well here.
yeah, well, they're
It's really
complementary colors.
vibrant.
Yeah.
It's a really
Yeah, it's very
vibrant
vibrant.
photo, which is what I like about it. My
Mhm.
one thing, though, that I'm not really digging too much, or I feel it could be fixed up, are the little bokeh circles all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you see it's in the leaf, a little bit on the arms, on the
On the arm.
hand.
hmm
Yeah. I feel like because they look so sharp, I'm assuming this was put in with a brush.
It was totally either a brush or an overlay of some sort.
Yeah, I think like a quick Gaussian blur over that layer would really help,
I think it's
or something like that.
It's really what I'm gonna say is the rogue bokeh balls that make it read not as well. What I mean by that is like the large one that's like over the leaves by her armpit.
Yeah.
The ones that are over her arm, her left arm.
Yep.
Just some of those large ones, I think, like read as really fake to me, and then because those read as fake, I have to like reevaluate the rest of them. Like I don't think the ones in the trees, like when I look at them for a little bit of time, I'm like, oh yeah, I can tell those aren't real. But like I think at first glance, I don't read that at all. It's I only end up going to them and thinking they're fake because of the other ones that are far more obviously fake.
hmm Yeah, I think like Neil said, just like a Gaussian blur over that layer or something would have just softened them up a little bit. I think it would have. I think it would have been looked a lot better that way.
So, what do you guys think about the framing on this photo? I know, David, you talked about the kind of the cutting off of the elbow, but
hmm
I feel like this shot has like it's funny because like it's technically like her face is perfectly on the upper third of the photo in terms
hmm
of like the vertical third. So like that should be compositionally correct, but like I feel like there's just a bit too much like headroom and there's not enough space below to balance it out. I would maybe like I like seeing as much trees as we do in this shot. I think maybe I would just the shot I just want it to be a little bit wider so that we get a little bit more of her body in the photo and the frame feels just a bit more balanced.
Yeah, yeah, because I think you're right now that you mention it. That does like feel like there's a little bit too much headroom for this specific like um prop of this
You know
shot.
what I think it might be? I think it might be because she's looking up and out that we really pay attention to that area because we kind of
Yeah,
follow her line of sight up into that top negative
naturally.
space that we get to
Mhm.
spend more time up there. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
Neil.
Yeah. I was gonna suggest maybe they could shoot this horizontally and then have the cosplayer kind of on the right side, like kind of on that
Mm.
1/3 line, so you can kind of follow their eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a general rule of thumb that I have in my own photos is if I have someone looking off to the left, I put them in the right of the photo and vice versa so that they're never looking out of the photo, they're looking into the like larger section of the photo that they're not in.
Yeah.
Just
hmm
keeps people's eyes in the
Yeah.
photo unless there's a very
Yeah.
specific reason I'm not doing that.
Yeah. But I'm thinking the only reason maybe a horizontal wouldn't work is maybe they didn't have that much space to
Yeah,
work
it's
with.
hard to know with the background. I have a feeling this
Yeah.
background probably was
I feel like they're
pretty
pretty
limiting.
limited with space here.
Yeah. Because you
Yeah.
can see already, like, looks like there's like an
Something.
umbrella in the background.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like a table or something
Yeah.
there.
Which doesn't really distract me unless I was like looking to change the composition. But
Oh, the photographer just brought it up in the chat. They wanted to do a horizontal shot, but yeah, there's like people.
there was a
So
ton of people. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I got
that's
the
that. I
funny
got
thing
that
is, like,
cost
vibe.
limitation.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I was assuming.
I feel like that's like a very unique thing to cosplay photography, because we're so limited by like when you're shooting at cons because of other people, and we're trying to get shots with no people in them, which is just like, well, I wanted to do this shot, but this is the one I could do.
Yeah, I mean, you're really
Yeah.
forced to work with what you're given, which sometimes is like almost nothing. So I
Yeah.
think
Um, something that I know we kind of had talked about a little bit before the stream started was the sharpening on this. I know, David, you'd brought that up
mhm.
for the stream, and this is kind of something I feel like we see a decent amount. And it's super nitpicky, so maybe don't listen to us on this, but like I like
Don't listen to us in general.
yeah, there just reaches a point where like sometimes the photos can end up feeling a bit grainy, especially at like full screen size
Mhm.
when you sharpen, and like I just don't think there's really that need to do that super strong sharpening. So I don't know, just something to keep in mind. I felt the same way about the last photo, where it was just kind of like it was
It was
sharpened
a
more than it needed to be, and there was like
mhm.
sharpening also in the background where like like if you're gonna do that, like use a layer mask and like you know have the sharpening where the sharpening needs to happen. Instead, it'll make the background a bit more
Yeah.
grainy. So I don't know, just it's
Another
really not a big deal because
yeah, another thing
go ahead, David.
another thing that helps with sharpening a lot of times that I see when there's sharpening on this image, how it seems like it's right around like some high contrast areas. Another good technique for sharpening is, I mean, I don't have a video on hand, but if you were to look up high pass filter sharpening,
That's how I
sometimes
sharpen as well.
that sharpens really well, and it doesn't always look as grainy.
That's how
Just that's just a
I've
tip.
actually been lowering the amount of sharpening I do in Lightroom, and then just doing a lot more like specific masking out of areas using a high pass
Yeah,
filter, and just
same.
sharpening like eyes and
I
face and stuff with a high pass filter.
yeah, I don't ever touch the sharpening sliders in Lightroom.
I
Camera on
used
Photoshop.
I've like been consistently lowering how much I sharpen in Photoshop, or
Hmm.
not Photoshop, in Lightroom. I used to start at like, so the slider number I used to be up at like 75, 80. Not then I went to like 65. Now I'm chilling at like 45 in sharpening,
Hmm.
and doing it mostly with high pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, clarity slider on Lightroom for me already just automatically goes to -10. That's just kind of what I do because I like my photos to look really soft.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's
Yeah.
kind of like a trademark for me at this point. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
I just like how it
Definitely.
looks.
It definitely is. Yeah.
Awesome. With that, let's move on to the next shot. This one is from Eric Jaworski. And Neil, you're up on this one.
Oh, where am I? I am. Wait, where'd it go?
Spooderman. This is the Spooderman.
Oh God, I lost
Spooder
it.
Moon.
Oh, it's the
Spooderman.
Spider-Man one. I lost it. I was like, oh no, I really should have put everything in Lightroom, like what David did.
Yas, dude.
But no. Okay. So with this one, I like the pose, but I feel like the way that this image is shot, um, I feel like maybe the photographer could have gotten a little bit closer, maybe had the cosplayer have the web slinging arm out a little bit straighter, I guess, in a way.
Like
I
closer to
feel,
the camera or something.
yeah, closer to the camera to make it more of a dynamic shot, so to speak.
I think also with that the hand on the leg makes it feel less dynamic too. It makes it feel like more like he was stretching and less like he landed in that pose, kind of
Yeah,
a thing.
That's a good point.
maybe for this pose, because it's always like I always feel like with the more dynamic poses that people have to do, there are certain things that the cosplayer has to be able to do in order for the pose to be convincing. I guess
Yeah.
that's the way I can put it. So maybe if they had their what is that, their right arm kind of like out, and then have like the left hand doing the web slinging thing.
Absolutely, that's what I was thinking as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Another. What was I going to bring up? Oh, another thing I would like to say about this photo is I'm not too crazy about the background.
Yeah,
and
I was gonna say
it is.
If this isn't a con background, I don't know what is.
I know, yeah, this is definitely a con background. I felt like maybe this photo could be. I don't know if they were using lights or not.
No,
I'm
they
thinking
were not.
no.
They used just the lights of the area.
Just the lights of the area. Yeah,
That's my understanding, at least.
I do like that light coming
Yeah,
from behind them. Though,
I think
like
they
used
used the light pretty well. Given how shitty the light in parking garages are, the lighting in this image looks pretty darn good.
Yeah, definitely felt that. Yeah.
Yeah.
The lighting on the cosplayer is good. I feel the lighting, just like the image in the background, really the background needs more work in terms of color grading and kind of just like burning and dodging.
Yeah. So my thought here is this image needs a heavy vignette. Like, if you're gonna go in a parking garage and shoot something like this, I kind of want it darker and grungier. So I'm like, my first thought is like, yo, add a heavy vignette up in this bitch, and that's gonna help a lot. Totally agree on the color grading though, because it feels like a pretty clean color grading.
Yeah,
I think also one other thing. My bad.
Go for it.
I think the highlights need to be brought down because you can see the reflections in the cars, and I feel like those little highlights almost look like
little Pokeballs.
Yeah, they look like little Pokeballs like all over the background.
Yeah.
Let's bring the highlights down so those are less visible because I find them a little distracting.
Yeah. So something chat keeps on mentioning, and I echo is it's kind of, it's got the like tilt that feels like not sure if intentional tilt or if just crooked. I think if you're gonna do that, everyone knows me and Dutch angles at this point, but like if you're gonna have it tilted, either straighten this or like lean into it hard. It's like at like a 10-degree tilt, and like that's like not enough. It just kind of makes you go like, is this supposed to be like, is it crooked? And you just kind of end up guessing instead of like, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just barely correct.
Our fantastic chatter Sororio Days is sadly, it's time for her to go. Bye, Sarah.
She's gonna buy more special yaoi books.
Yeah, she's gonna go get her BL on.
Oh God, don't bring that up.
This will be 2 streams in a row that we talked about Sarah and BL. So like, you know, it is what it is at this point.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I think this image just, you could go a lot, do a lot more kind of a cinematic feel with it if you just, you know, spend some time like darkening it, dodging and burning, and then color grading.
Yeah, because one thing I did really quick in Lightroom is like I did what you said, which is like add a little vignette, and then I kind of added some blues in the shadows, and it really helped out a lot. It took the distraction away from like the background and really focused on the cosplayer, and it totally changed it, and it was pretty simple adjustments.
Yeah, the other thing I would say, I wouldn't crop it this way based on this image, but like the easy way, and something we say a lot in this critique series of getting a cinematic feel, 16:9 crop. This image, wouldn't work for it. You just don't have enough like top and bottom like negative space to really make that work. But like if you're looking for an easy way to get that cinema feel, 16:9.
Yeah. Yep. 16:9 is what they use. So it's definitely an easy way to get.
Well, technically they
I think that's what the 9S cosplay
had. It's actually not 16:9 in movies. It's what, 21:9, something like that. It's actually wider than 16:9. But that's besides the point.
I take photos. I don't do video.
Me
We don't
either.
shoot
Me
cosplays with IMAX cameras with reds.
Yeah. IMAX. God.
Cool. With that, let's move on to the next shot.
But
What? What's going on? Okay.
what? Brotique. Okay.
Chill, bro. You need to
This
tone
one
down the bro.
is from. Oh, I'm gonna say your first name because I'm just gonna fuck up your handle if I try. This one's from Esther.
Esther?
So, yeah.
Esther?
I'm not gonna try the page name.
Pretty sure it's
I'm just not gonna do that. Yo guys, you know what time it is in the chat right now, right? Like
901?
no,
Yeah.
no, it's time for them.
I was like, wait, what?
Well,
time
for you, it's
them
actually
Dutch
801.
angles.
It's 901.
Time for them Dutch
Oh.
angle. God damn it.
They're pretty strong here.
Okay. Yeah, so I really like the lighting on this shot. I feel like usually I'm not a big fan of that kind of hard light coming in on a face like this. However, it works real well here. I just kind of like that highlight. I think it works better because the green face paint. I don't think it would work as well on a non-face painted face. Does that make sense?
I think it would have been more blown out if it was on normal face.
I feel like compositionally this photo feels a little odd to me. I imagine this is probably a con photo. I just don't know what's going on in the background. It's like
that looks like
I don't know. It looks like
that's a ship. I don't know. I want to say it's a ship or it's like a shipping yard crane.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks like a
things.
weird like half an Ewok.
Wait, Ewok?
No.
Ewok is like a little bear
No,
thing.
not the Ewok. Damn it. God, why did I think of... No. We're rewinding.
Andrew, that's on video.
Oh, Lord. I'm not a Star Wars person. Don't hate me.
You're digging your hole deeper, my fan.
No, it's not the fucking the big four-legged guys that you take down in Star Wars Rogue Squadron. Yeah, I'm just like, I know it's a combination of letters at this point. So yeah, it looks like part of one of those. I'm glad I went for that analogy. Nailed that. Stuck the landing there.
I'm like, Ewok? No.
Yeah.
I thought you were referring to the cosplay. I'm like, wow, that's offensive.
No. Oh. Yeah.
So one thing I guess I can say about the Dutch angle here is I feel like it's not like as offensive to me because of the position their head is in and where their eyes are looking. I feel like it kind of opens up that side of the image if you're following their line of sight. I mean, again, I'm not the biggest Dutch angle fan, but I think here it's really not that bad.
Yeah, I'm not gonna...
I just wish I would have seen more of the cosplayer.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
Oh, you're not like what I'm gonna say then.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not gonna fully say that I think it's not an egregious example of a Dutch angle to me, but I think it's also not a strong example of a Dutch angle.
Mm-hmm. It's not really doing the photo any favors.
Yeah, I just don't think there's anything it's adding.
Yeah, you're right.
You can go ahead if you have more thoughts on that.
Oh, yeah, no, I was just gonna say that the Dutch angle isn't really adding to the photo at all. Like, it doesn't look like the cosplayer isn't really doing anything to warrant a Dutch angle. So they're just kind of standing there with that, like, the hand over their like stomach with the red string, and
well, I think they're holding whatever's draped over their shoulder. That belt.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
I have a hard time reading what like the red string is supposed to be too. Like, I don't know. Maybe if I knew the character, it would make a lot more sense. But
well, I think what I'm seeing through the hand is that's how it goes over the shoulder. That the belt is what goes over the shoulder, and then the bottom half of the sheath that sword is in is attached to the red string.
Oh yeah, you're right. Totally. It just feels weird then to me. I like my mind would think that the whole thing would be like just a belt. I don't know. Maybe that once again would make more sense if I knew the character, so I'm not gonna judge that too hard.
Yeah. So I guess we're all in agreement that the Dutch angle isn't really doing much for the photo.
I think
I don't think it's needed.
Yeah, what I say with a Dutch angle is like think about why you're tilting the camera. If you don't have if the reason is it's you have it straight and you're like this isn't artistic, and you turn the camera and you're like this is gonna make it more artistic. Like that's not how it works. Like you really think about the reason why you're tilting it. If you can justify the reason to do the Dutch angle, then chances are it's going to be a good Dutch angle. But if you're tilting it just to tilt it, then it usually just feels weird. I think also like compositionally, I think I would like this a Dutch angle a little bit more if like his head were on a corner third or something like that, like maybe the top left third of the frame, if it was on that intersection. I think that could work better for me.
I feel like with a Dutch angle, I guess I would really want the cosplayer to do something with their right hand other than holding the strap. Like maybe if they were like looking, like I don't know, like putting, like seem like they're searching for something, because then you have that elbow to create that angle.
Yeah.
And then it's like pointing off. It's I don't know how to describe it really, but yeah, it's just like the pose doesn't really.
Besides the other thing I wanted to go before I totally just botched my analogy, but what I wanted to say was not even just the background being confusing. Like I get kind of this piratey retro feel from the character, and once again maybe this makes more sense in context, but like I just feel like the background feeling very modern feels at odds with the character. And if
I agree.
If I were in that situation, like I'm looking in the background and it's not exactly super close, but I'm seeing it looks like some trees in the background. If it were me and I was trying to get something that fit more with the character, I'd probably try and take them over by those trees and take something that with like a vaguely abstract like naturey background, so that way you can't like place it like time period
I'm
wise.
honestly thinking if that was a boat, maybe the reason, because it looks like they got some kind of sea creature wrapped around the sword with some like whatever those things are called that grow on like the underside of boats. So I think
Like
this
barnacle.
barnacles. I think that's what they're called. And then
Yeah,
obviously
that's
the
what they're
pirate hat.
called.
So I think maybe that's why they tried to take a picture with the boat in it.
That makes sense. But then maybe just get more boat.
More, yeah, I think more boat. If that is a boat.
Photo
I
needs
think
more
it is.
boat.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely. Go ahead.
Oh.
Boat.
You go ahead. You go ahead.
No, Oki Cosplay in the chat says he is apparently a D&D character and he is a sailor. I mean, I feel like it was pretty clear that he was a sailor. Like I don't think like that context wise felt pretty clear, but yeah. I think maybe just if boat then more boat.
If boat then more. All right.
Unless boat doesn't look like right boat. I don't know. I still think if it's super modern boat, then I still would probably take like a more vaguely naturey background to kind of take the time period out of it.
Okay. Yeah, I can agree with you there.
Mallow's just sassing me now in the chat. Just drink your wine, Mallow.
Hashtag more boat. Everyone type hashtag more boat in the chat.
Hashtag more boat. I'll start it off. Oh, dang it.
Okay. Now that we're more boating, let's move on to the next shot.
Who is next?
This one's from everyone's favorite Felix. FX Dandy.
Everyone's favorite Felix. Felix the cat.
Yeah.
David, I think you are up on this one.
Yas. I hope Felix is actually in the chat.
He was
because I
earlier,
think,
so
was it?
He
Because
was
I
here.
honestly think this shot is like
terrible, awful.
Makes
No.
me feel
You have to
self-conscious.
roast
This dude is
Felix.
ripped.
No.
We've got like a contractual obligation that we need to roast Felix. We can't just say positive things.
I didn't
Wait,
read the
were you
comment.
gonna say positive things here?
There are too many
What the
leaves
hell?
in the background.
Felix, I think this photo is freaking awesome. I think the pose of the cosplayer is gold. I think the facial expression is good. I mean, flexing the vein popping out like really works for like if he's like agitated or something, and the color grading is freaking on
Yeah.
point.
So this
I really have to
is
say this is awesome.
this is a near another near automata photo, and like character wise, this makes a ton of sense. Like
Yeah.
it just it really works.
Love it.
I think, you know, I super dig the color toning.
I have a criticism though.
Oh yeah, okay,
But
go
keep
ahead,
going.
Neil, because I agree. I'm imagining you're heading in the same place that I am. So roasting time.
It's that roasting time. On the right side of the photo, it looks like there was some color shifting going on. So the leaves are like kind of blotchy. So it looks
Oh,
like
you're right. Yeah.
it looks like they're just Felix is just, I guess, playing with the color sliders, just trying to get all those leaves to be this reddish hue.
Mhm.
But I feel like it just a little bit more work into it would a little more work to kind of just like seamlessly kind of
Even it out.
even everything out would be great.
Yeah, I that was totally the same place I was going. So yeah, it just feels like a little weird, like that transition between colors, from that green to red. I think that's sometimes the price you end up paying for doing some extreme color grading.
That's true.
It's hard, like that's the weird thing, is like you just have to pay careful attention to that. But that said, like this looks really awesome, and sometimes you're just like, well, shit, like it looks cool. I guess I'm gonna deal. Like I think even though it bothers me, it's probably, you know, like the rest of the shot I like enough that that doesn't particularly bother me.
Yeah.
The one thing that I wanted to go back to is as much as I love the color grading, I think actually the dodging and burning is what is selling this photo for me. Kind of this overall dark vibe, but like this really nice like contrast on his face and like
Mhm.
on his upper torso just really works for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also,
Agreed.
Oki Cosby brought up in the chat. How would you guys feel if there was like eye contact?
I don't think that's. I think whatever's going on here, I think he's like really aggravated and just like about to scream. So I don't think they would be making eye
So
contact.
I think it could work, but I think that the eye contact anger would be way harder to sell than the looking down, because like I feel like then you know what I mean, like it's a lot easier for that to feel fake. I'm not saying it couldn't work here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I just think it would be harder to make work, and I don't dislike what's going on here.
Yeah.
What does bother me about this image, and it's a pretty nitpicky thing, is like his subtle lean to the right of the frame. Like his like shoulders aren't quite even, and his body, his torso has a bit of a rightward like angle to it. And
Yeah,
it's just
that's
like,
probably because he's putting all of his weight onto his left
yeah,
foot.
That's what I was
what it
thinking.
looks
I
like
think
it's
he's like
totally.
happening.
stepping forward or something. Or
Yeah,
putting
it
his
just
foot
like
forward,
compositionally makes it feel just like just slightly off to me. I don't know if you guys agree on that or not.
I don't think I agree
It
or
doesn't
disagree.
necessarily bother
Yeah, it
me.
doesn't really
I
bother
feel
me here.
yeah, because I feel like if he was like perfectly even, it would look a little weird. I don't know
Yeah, I don't know. I feel
how to
like
explain that.
I don't know. It bothers me. I can't really explain why, but it is.
What do you guys think about this possibly being like a vertical versus horizontal?
I think I would prefer the horizontal.
Yeah.
I don't mind
just-
it horizontal, so
Yeah, that's what I was kind of feeling. I was just curious. Playing around.
I think it could work as a vertical.
Yeah.
I just don't mind it as a horizontal.
hmm
Yeah.
I think maybe what it is, like, the more I'm thinking about the pose, I think I wish his like arms were just a little bit in closer to him.
Like really, really, really flexing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're like, ugh.
something like that, I guess.
Shia LaBeouf, just do it kind of thing.
Sure. Um. Okay. Yeah. No, I really dig this shot though.
Yeah.
Not bad, Felix, I guess.
I guess.
It's
Whatever.
fine. Like,
It's a photo.
you know. I guess, you know, it was good enough that we were able to show it on the stream, so like that's something, you know.
Yeah, don't
Okay.
don't go thinking you're hot shit now.
Damn.
You got a long ways to go, kid.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
Obligatory Felix roast. Okay, let's move on to the next shot. This one is from Lou, who is a frequent submitter. Well, welcome back to the critique, Lou, and Neil, I believe you're up for this critique.
This is good.
Yeah, it's me, and luckily I love Metal Gear Solid, so yeah.
Wish this photo was a little bit more gear and a little less solid, though. You know.
A little.
Yikes.
Okay, sorry. I'll stop.
Yikes. Where do you
God
go
help
from
us
that?
And then just Neil just leaves the stream, just like,
Just,
well,
see you guys. Alright. So, right off the bat, there are a couple things that I really want to say. I'm gonna nitpick right off the bat.
oh
Alright.
yeah.
I can tell that the background was like cloned in.
Oh yeah. There's
To cover up whatever was there. Because you can see a little bit of like a little haloing around the hair, and you can see repeated patterns in the space to the back right. So yeah, there's a little bit of like weird stuff going on with the cloning and healing and all that. It might not be immediately apparent to the average, I guess, person who's just
Like
scrolling
most
through
people see it,
Instagram and is gonna see it. Yeah.
Mhm.
But that's just something I noticed because I'm just known to just completely get rid of backgrounds because
yeah.
you know
No,
me.
it's one where it was subtle enough that it doesn't scream at you, but like it's really immediately noticeable. It almost makes the image feel soft, like you look at it and you're
Yeah,
like,
that's
why
a
does
good
this
way to
image
put it.
feel soft? And then you kind of look at it a little bit longer, and then you realize there's like the haloing around the hair, and yeah.
Another thing I want to bring up, and I think it's been brought up a couple times in the chat now. I believe that the greens are too green, considering the source material. I mean, it's Metal Gear Solid 5. It's all brown and gray.
Yeah, desaturate those greens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
desaturate the greens.
I'd say
and
desaturate actually the yellows in more so than the greens. Like the greens aren't too bad.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just like those like
it's the yellows in the greens.
neon yellows chilling out there.
Yeah. And another thing that was brought up, other than the saturation of the colors, is bring down the highlights a little bit.
I think actually what needs to happen here is on top of that is that there must have been like a bit of flare coming in on this image, like the lack of like shadow depth like in his hair feels like makes it feel like there was some like strong flare over his face, like compared to like anywhere else on him. So I definitely try and deepen those shadows a little bit.
Yeah. or bump up the clarity or something to kind of make it a little more contrasty, which would work here too because it's a gritty character, so you could actually go pretty crazy with clarity and have it work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is definitely one of those images slash characters slash game series where you can really do some awesome stuff creatively with color grading because it just works pretty much.
One thing that stood out to me, I don't know if you guys noticed, do you see those like the grasses in the foreground?
That's brushed in. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I have
I
that
was gonna ask
same
that.
grass brush.
Okay, because I couldn't tell. I mean, it was done pretty
Yeah.
well. I think if there was like a little bit more of a blur to
It's
them, it would
weird,
look more
yeah,
natural.
because
But
you can see they look like they were blurred a little bit, but they're a lower resolution, so you kind of like
yeah,
see even though they're blurred, you can kind of see where the pixels were.
and I think that's
Mhm.
the reason it stood out. So if there was just a little bit more blur, that would have been a lot more convincing.
Yeah, honestly I didn't notice them like immediately, but definitely
hmm Yeah, it
feel
wasn't. That was
weird.
something that kind of I noticed recently. It
Yeah.
didn't stand out to me right away.
I don't honestly think you need them either, though. Like,
I think it was just to add depth to the shot,
yeah,
really.
I think like try blurring
But
them. If that doesn't work, I think I would just remove them. I don't think
hmm
you like right now. Like now that I know it, I feel like they're doing a lot more damage to the photo than help. So,
Mhm.
yeah,
um, something that I know Mallow brought up was the eyes or eye, I should say. Um,
hmm
and what's going on there is you feel like you're just getting so much of the white of the eye because his gaze is going off that far to the right. I actually like the direction of his gaze, but I especially see how like if you view this shot zoomed out, it can feel a little weird. Like you can read his eye almost as being like completely white at first glance.
hmm
Yeah.
It's one of those things where I'd have the like look just to be a little less extreme with his eyes. I generally try to keep people's like tell them to follow their nose in terms of their gaze. Because like eyeballs looking too far to one side can sometimes just look weird.
Yeah. No, that's actually solid advice. That makes sense.
You gotta be like Toucan Sam, follow your nose.
Ugh.
Oh God.
No one's
Okay,
gonna
I'm
know
leaving.
that. Like those are old Fruit Loops commercials.
I'm leaving. Thanks for the
Bye.
invite, but bye.
Just like thanks for the invite, but I'm uninviting myself. Okay, I just noticed something.
Trigger discipline.
Oh well, yeah, that.
Yeah.
Although
Well,
although
I was gonna say I think this kind of works.
yeah, it doesn't particularly bother me here because like theoretically you could be like, oh,
He's ready.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
ready to
It looks like he's ready
shoot
to
a bitch.
like.
Like,
Yeah.
it's
He's ready to dart someone and then
Yeah.
they sleep. And then you throw them in a bush somewhere.
yeah. I still think maybe trigger discipline could be good here because
Kitty.
Yeah.
no, it's the on top of the bush on the very right side of the photo. Where something was attempted to be cloned out but was never fully cloned out or like was
I can
sampled.
see it.
I wonder if like I'm almost like was that sampled from him? Like I don't know.
Yeah,
There's something
yeah, it
that's
was.
still there that should not be there is what it comes down to.
No, it was. It's that's the lower. That's like the bottom part of the scarf. It matches up. Exactly.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Or it's a ghost. Ooh, spooky.
Oh,
Ghost.
Yeah. So just be careful when you're sampling your clone sources because yeah, that can happen. And it's not.
where did you notice? Oh. See it.
Yeah, I'm really good at noticing those small things.
Yeah.
I literally didn't catch that until you said that.
Cool. Let's move on to the next shot and the final one in our Brotique. There's more regular non-themed photos, I should say, but this is part of Brotique. And this one is from Lulu, and photo of someone cosplaying as Taco from Adventure Zone. And I think I'm starting this one. I am.
Yep.
Mel is asking where the poop break is. It's
Poop break
happening
is after this
soon,
one.
okay?
Because I have to go. I am holding it in. Champ. I'm ready.
Oh, Lord Jesus. I mean, yeah, okay, photos. We're talking about photos. I super dig the kind of light, airy vibe to this shot.
It is gorgeous.
Just the kind of the subtle way that bokeh's falling off, how bright the shot is. I'm really, really digging it. I think the color toning's really nice. The light's really nice. I really don't have a lot of negatives to say with this image.
Ooh, can I go?
Yeah, Neil.
Can I go?
If you
Can
want to
I
break
go?
in with some negatives,
Yeah.
go for it.
Yeah, it's not a negative. I would well, other than agreeing with pretty much everything that you said, I think the highlights can be toned down just a smidge.
Yeah, they were
Agreed.
a little hot.
Yeah, that's something I just played with in Lightroom with that.
That's really it. The highlights are really way up there. Bring it down a little bit, and I think this photo will be
11 out of 10. It's really
Yeah.
good. I'm trying to
solid, perfect 5 out of 7. Perfect score.
I'm honestly trying to nitpick, and I really
So I have a nitpick, but it's probably a controversial nitpick.
Is it the tattoos?
So it's interesting. It's not the tattoo on the left arm. It's the one on the right arm, and it's not because it's a tattoo. It's because it's text, and my mind goes to like. I think if it were just like if it were also like vines like the tattoo on the other arm, totally not bother me. But because like it's text, my eyes go to reading it.
Mm-hmm.
And if it weren't
so
text,
you read upwards.
yeah. So I go and I just read be optimistic. Or
I mean, that's one thing that really I don't know. Tattoos on cosplayers don't really bother me that much.
Okay, so
I mean, I guess that's
yeah, it's not like I'm trying to say context wise. It's not that it's a tattoo. It's because it's a tattoo of text and I'm reading it and my brain and this maybe is just a me thing, but like my brain gets into reading this and I think it's not helping the shot. And it's totally up to the I'd say the cosplayer. If the cosplayer wants a tattoo and then fine. Not much you can do about that. If it were me preferably, I would want to remove that specific tattoo, but that's just me. Once again, totally.
But it could be request of the cosplayer to leave them in too.
Yeah, totally. That's one thing to be clear when it comes to tattoos. Pretty much always ask the cosplayer first if they want them in or not. Just like I pretty much try to clarify that before I even take a photo of a cosplayer that has tattoos showing, just so that that it's clear up front. So yeah.
Overall, like you guys both said, I mean, it's really good.
Yeah, this is a solid photo.
Yeah. If I were to seriously nitpick, I guess I wish the focus would have been on her eye closest to us. Looks like the focus is on her left eye, not her right eye.
Yeah, it's on the left eye.
I mean, but the thing is like wherever you're gonna see this on Facebook or Instagram or anywhere, unless you're like seeing these things on Flickr, you're never gonna really notice that because it's so
or
minor.
in print.
But yeah. But overall, I think it's 10 out of 10. Love it. Love the color grading. Composition's great. Location's great.
I think it works so well because you've got these kind of warm greens which work well with the reds and the oranges of the cosplay. Like it just feels the color wise really cohesive. If I were to nitpick a little bit more, I think
welcome to Nitpick Town.
Yeah, Nitpick Town. Absolutely. All aboard the train to Nitpick Town. I would zoom this photo out just a smidge. Compositionally, I think I would like her head a little bit higher in the frame. I wouldn't want to crop off the hat to make that happen though. So I would want this photo just zoomed out just a little bit and her head just a little bit higher in the frame. But that's like it's not bothering me as is. I just think that would make it slightly better. Any final thoughts on this one from you guys?
No. I love it.
I think we're pretty unanimous on this one.
Yeah.
Oki Cosby wants to see more chin.
They want more chin.
Wait, what?
Oki Cosby wants to see more chin.
Mean?
I know what it means. It means that she says
Chop
like
in more chins.
The kind
like
of her
more
chin is blending into the neck a little bit.
Yeah.
So kind of maybe just dodge and burn, or just lift the chin just a little bit more so you get a bit more separation from the neck. That's a solid point. I would agree. I think actually even just like toning the highlights down just a smidge would probably help that feel a little bit better. Also Oki Cosby, more chins. I can do that in your photos, don't worry.
We can always add more chins in.
Yeah, just more chins,
chin,
just say when. Okay. With that, it's time for our little break time, or as chat seems to lovingly refer to it, poop break.
Poop break.
So we will be back in a little bit. This is the end of the Brotique photos. And
Stick around for our musical guest Beyonce. She is here. She is in the building.
God damn it. No, not that. But stick around for the rest of the photos that were submitted that kind of fell out of the side of the Brotique theme. As well as Q&A. So we'll do the Q&A immediately when we come back. So chat, think up some questions if you have, general questions, or if you have specific ones for Neil or David. So yeah, we will be back shortly. Bye. Oh boy, we're back. You guys ready for Q&A?
Yikes.
Because we need Q's to give you A's. How this works.
I'm cringing.
I'm gonna give everyone the A's right now. They give us their Q's.
Also,
Yikes.
I have usurped all of you. My hat. I've taken over. I am the king of hats.
Not if I have anything to say about it.
I was hoping to God. Oh God.
Yes.
Fucking. I'm just expecting you to be like, milady.
Milady.
All right. Oki Cosplay asked, natural or artificial light?
Okay.
Everyone
I
who wants to
have.
go first on this one.
I will.
I'm a natural light
because
person. That's all. Go ahead, David.
So I primarily shoot natural light. I mean, it's easier for me, like especially for cons and stuff, but even on location stuff. But I think there is times when using artificial light is like freaking amazing. And so I try to like balance the two. I definitely shoot a lot more natural light, but I love using artificial light as well.
I enjoy
think-
artificial light from time to time, but definitely I lean towards natural.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pretty much only shoot more or less natural light.
Yeah.
More or less. I do have lighting equipment that I just barely use.
Yeah.
Also, thanks, Danny, for coming in hot with that sweet hat-based donation. Thank you, my dude.
Oh, what?
Wait, what happens?
Danny gave a hat-based donation. That's all. Okay, people, you got more questions? Allison with all the questions. I mean, Oki Cosplay with all the questions.
Don't give them away.
Where do you find your overlays?
Adobe Stock.
Google Images. Or another spot where I have Etsy is a really good spot where you can find some like a lot of overlays, good ones for like a couple bucks. But Adobe Stock is another thing I do use as well. But mostly Google Images. I just search blah 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 overlay and then make sure it's like a relatively large file so I can stretch it over the image and
Another really good one is, if you're willing to spend the money, is lens distortions.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
they've
they're
got
like
some really nice ones.
for like $100.
So
You know, I have 3 of them.
Oh, do you really? There's
Yeah.
dude, that is
So I
like
can
a
share
goal.
some of them. It's a lot. You get a lot of stuff. You get
Yeah.
action. You get
Oh, you get actions too?
you get a whole bunch of actions, which like do a whole bunch of complicated stuff for you.
Uh-huh.
So Lou asks in the chat, what would be your biggest challenge in the future? I'm gonna go with global warming on that. I mean,
Yikes.
Man, I don't know. I feel like
I don't know.
honestly, I feel like the biggest challenge in this community with kind of the way it's going is staying inspired. I know that sounds kind of stupid, but I think it's honestly a real problem that like a lot of photographers suffer from.
Hold
It
on.
just got really quiet all of a
Oh,
sudden.
okay. Well, I got confused because I thought all of a sudden I did everything. Sorry. So you're saying just hoping you stay inspired?
Yeah, it's. I think the biggest challenge is literally just staying inspired because it's really easy to get kind of burned out in this community.
But yeah, well that was like, and I wouldn't even blame the community
Yeah, no.
more so. I mean, to some degree, yeah, it can be kind of like irritating, but like that's really not why I'd get burned out. I guess like this year, my biggest challenge right now is like finding a good balance to shooting cosplay at cons and enjoying the con, and I'm trying to really like find a good way to balance that out because I'm starting to overwork myself at cons to where I'm focusing a lot more on shooting rather than hanging out with friends or vice versa, and I'm really just trying to get back to just to not burn myself out again like I did this year.
So, something
That's true.
I want to go back and clarify. What I meant by the community is not necessarily. I'm not even saying it's the community's fault. I think it's probably a lot of just how the communities are based in online via social media, and I think that's part of the huge reason for burnout, just because social media sucks these days. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Neil,
If anyone's ever noticed, like I've never really like. I actually went through my Instagram and just archived a bunch of stuff because I didn't like how anything looked, and now I'm just kind of lazy and I don't want to do anything about it anymore. So yeah, it's like I don't really. Well, I do care about my social media, but I also don't.
Yeah, it's hard because like I care and don't care at the same time. It's like a really weird, conflicting feeling at the moment.
I'm kind of just like at the point where I'm just like, whatever happened. I mean, it was never really a thing of mine to like have a lot of followers. I don't really care, but I just
It's like you don't care,
whatever.
but you kind of do also.
Yeah, because
Really
well,
what it
because you like want, of course, want your work to like be seen and stuff like that. But like,
It's a complicated issue. I think what's more frustrating right now is I feel like so many less people are seeing your photos, but not because of lack of interest. Like, it's not that less people are interested in your work. It's just that people aren't seeing it as much anymore, just because the nature of how social media has gone. That's a huge topic, though.
Facebook purchasing.
Let's move on to this question, which maybe is another deep one, which is one thing would you change specifically about the photog community? And I'm assuming you mean cosplay photog community.
Yeah, I'd have to assume.
Yeah.
I actually have a big one, and this kind of carries over from my automotive photography because this kind of happened in that scene as well. So what happens is when you would go to like car meets or shows or things like that, it there progressively becomes there are more photographers every time you go to one. So it's almost it's almost like every person now has like a DSLR on them or mirrorless or whatever, and they're just toting a camera around and just kind of shooting, not really enjoying the event. And then basically the event itself just becomes saturated with photographers. And it's fine to be interested in the craft itself, whether it be cosplay photography or automotive photography or whatever. To be interested in the art and like get start doing it. But it's another thing when you see people just immediately hop on a bandwagon to get social media famous, I guess is like the best way to put it. I see it a lot, and I don't really care much for it.
Some people get way too caught up in that. I think.
Yeah, you get caught, you get lost in the sauce. Basically, that's really what it is. You get lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
Don't get lost in the sauce.
Almost a bit of a similar concept on that. I would say what bothers me, and I think it's calmed down a little bit, is kind of the charging for photos community, or that idea in the cosplay space. Not saying that charging for photos is bad, because it isn't at all. I just think especially for a little bit there, we were having a lot of photographers charging way too soon. And kind of this like disconnect between like charging for photos and then not realizing like what you're doing is essentially being a business that's offering a service, and like there's expectations with that, even if there's like low amounts of money, and like just like kind of like how screwed up the charging for cosplay scene has gotten, where like it was kind of a race to the bottom of like, well, who can charge like $10 for like 100 photos. And I think it's
literally happened.
Yeah,
which is just stupid.
I think that's
insane.
balanced out a little bit, but in general though, I still think there's too many people charging way too soon, and like they've been shooting, like I went to one con and now I'm gonna charge for at my next con shooting, and you're just like, slow your roll, dude. Like, have fun with it.
So
Like,
are you thinking there should be like hoping for like some kind of standard or something
yeah,
like that?
I feel like our community will never be able to quite have that kind of standard just by the nature of it. But I do wish that there was like some way of being like, it's hard because like it's hard to define, like, you know, how many cons can you shoot before you can start charging? Like that's not a
Yeah,
thing you can.
that's what I'm thinking. Like
Yeah,
you're
it's
saying that is kind of like you can't really tell someone when they can and can't, but at the same
yeah.
time, like
It's
it's hard to
hard to
find.
tell when you know, someone can or can't, but sometimes it's clear that like this thing isn't quite baked yet. Put it back in the oven for a little bit. um yeah, that and just there's a lot of unfortunate nature of people not treating their paid work like paid work. And this I'm not talking
That's a
about,
big
I'm
one.
not talking about low end stuff. I'm talking about like, you know, like actual like, you know, good photographers charging money and then missing deadlines and not communicating with clients and or, you know, like prioritizing free work over work people paid for, or returning low quality work when it's been paid for, when more effort's being put into free work.
Yeah, or not just free work, just other work in general.
Yeah.
Like
Prioritizing popular cosplayers
Yeah.
over someone that's not maybe as well
Yeah.
known
Like
is another
the
thing.
way I do it is just like if you were my first shoot, you're the first one getting your pictures back, kind of thing, and I just
yeah.
go like
Yeah,
right
there
down the
has to be
line.
a level of business sense and respect and understanding when you're doing paid shoots, and it really pisses me off when photographers, especially well-known photographers, don't follow through on this, because it inherently gives us all a bad name, and
Yeah, because it
there's
hurts everybody. It's one of those
yeah,
situations where
and it's a huge bummer. And if
yeah,
if you're one of those photographers, you know who you are, and you need to fix this. Like, I'm not one
Well,
that's
I can name a couple off the top
I'm
of my
not gonna
head.
call out anyone. That's not my place. But we hear about it, and it's not good. So don't
no,
do
it's
it.
not good. It gives
We
you
find out, and
yeah,
it bums us out, and we're like, come on, you're better
yep,
than that. So don't do that.
yep,
And
yeah,
it's all fixable. You can
mm-hmm,
fix it. So fix it.
yeah,
Or just don't charge anymore. That's the best solution. If you're not going to
yeah,
be able to handle it, then don't do it.
yeah,
And I think honestly, if you are guilty of doing it, at least admit it and come out and try and like,
make it right.
if you can't make it right via like providing the work and doing faster because of other obligations, you need to make it right in other ways, and you need to admit to it. So yeah, that's enough on that. I don't want to like really
Drag that
Spend the
on.
rest of
yeah,
the
because
critique talking about
it's a shitty topic and it's not fun.
yeah,
But it's real. So
yep. Then it's
um
good. It's good that you mentioned that though, for
cool.
sure.
Anyone have I don't think I saw any
Any
other
last questions?
questions, but I'll give it one final chance if someone wants to throw like one more photo in there, um while we're going with this, while we're waiting for that. That's a big reason why I do a lot of free shoots instead of paid work, because I just don't have the time to do paid work, so that's why I don't do it.
Hmm.
That's why, because like I'm super slow, and
Yeah, you
I,
just don't charge.
yeah. It's so
That's
it's just
why.
like, I'd love to charge, I'd love to be making extra money for this, but like, man, I just don't have time, so I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
Lulu asks David where you get that sweet snapback.
I
Is
think
that
it
a
was
Fortnite
Amazon.
hat? Oh, sweet
Pretty sure it
Fortnite
was
hat.
Amazon or PAX East, one of the two. I don't remember.
Cool. I'll give it like another 30 seconds for a question to come in.
Any more questions?
Otherwise we'll roll back into the critique here.
Mm-hmm.
Film or digital? I feel like that's an easy question. We can end on that. That's sure. That's simple enough.
I love film though.
This is the thing. There's that love for film, but digital is just so.
I have no.
It's so easy.
Yeah,
It's not even. It's
I-
not even an
I
argument.
honestly like if we were still in an age of film, I wouldn't do photography. I know that sounds ridiculous, but like shooting film is like totally not appealing to me. Like I don't even necessarily like feel a strong connection to the look of film either. Like I can get why people find it appealing. I'm not trying to say like, oh, film sucks and what people that like it suck, because like I mean, like I'm the kind of person who buys vinyls, so like I mean, there's that. So like I
Yeah.
get it. It's just
So,
it's
like,
totally uninteresting.
Nowadays, isn't it? Film is definitely one of those things that's more of a niche kind of.
And I think it's pretty easy to emulate uh the look of film
get
digitally
close.
now.
Yeah.
Like so
Honestly, I just like how small the cameras are.
Film
My
cameras?
yeah, because my Nikon
Yeah.
what do I have? I have the f2. I have to double check. 1 second.
F2.
Yeah,
What?
I have the
Oh,
FM2, the
film.
Nikon FM2.
Yeah.
I love it. It's so easy to carry around, and it's technically that was a professional grade camera back then.
Yeah.
I bought it for like $100.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I just like the form factor of it all, not including carrying film around.
Yeah.
I feel like we got some of the film nerds coming out in the chat. There's Athel and Kevin Narita both I think chatting for the first time tonight, talking about film.
Apple's right with shooting film though. It does slow down your process,
Yeah,
which is what I actually appreciate about it. Because you only get what, like 20 something shots per roll.
Yeah, I brought my Game Boy
Yeah.
camera to a con once.
Around
That
there.
really slowed me down.
Oh, Athel seems like he said he took a film camera to a con once. That was quite the experience. I freaking bet.
I did it for my first COD
Imagine.
too. Actually, I shot digital along with film.
I have it.
Did you?
Yeah, I shot black and white film, and I thought it turned out pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm sure it did.
I actually have photos from Fanime 2017 on my film camera right now because I didn't finish the roll, and they're just kind of sitting there.
Oh,
So I
'cause you
should
don't
really finish
wanna
up that roll.
waste those. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, black and white film is just
Yeah.
love it so
black
much.
and white film was nice. I also like shooting expired film.
Yeah, because those all have a unique look.
Thought I
Yeah,
had
they
my
all
Game
look
Boy
really
camera
like
up there.
wild.
Damn.
What'd you say, Andrew?
I thought I had my Game Boy camera in my area there. I was gonna
Oh
pull
my
it out.
god, no! You have one of those?
Yeah, dude. I've
Oh
got
my-
photos on it still that are from like pictures of me from when I was like 11. I guess I would call them selfies. Like the
Yikes.
50 by 50 pixels that they are. It's amazing.
The selfies before selfies.
Yeah.
You did the thing before it was cool.
Oh yeah. Cool. You guys ready to get back into this critique?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
You guys
I
are
guess.
like, well, if we have
Whatever.
to. All right, cool. So let's see. We left off on photo number 10.
Yep.
Um.
It's Oki Cosplay.
Oh Lord.
Allison.
Uh-oh.
David, it's time for photos.
Are you good?
Yeah. Are you though?
Time to critique.
I'm telling you, you got this starting off here.
All right. I'm down. So this along. I mean, I guess I'm just a sucker for colors in a
Allison
shot.
in space.
Space.
And I honestly really love the color grading here. My only nitpick is I wish the highlights were a little bit lower so you could see a little bit more detail in the moon. Because those moon things are really cool.
So
yeah, the
the
moonlight.
funny thing is, I know because I had to suggest this idea that orb is totally blown out in the photo, and the moon texture is photoshopped in.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh well, how about them apples?
Yeah.
Well, I dropped the highlights a little bit in Lightroom, and I mean that looks freaking legit. Wow, that was smart though, just to Photoshop in the details. It worked.
Yeah, because I think it'd be really, really hard to like. This is what Allison was originally had asked me was like, how can I get the texture of the moon? And I'm just like, man, you're either gonna have to underexpose and crank the exposure to keep those details, or you're just gonna blow it out and then Photoshop the texture in.
You could like bracket the shot too.
Yeah, you could.
But
I
then
mean,
you
That
have to
too,
layer
but this is
everything
also
up.
self-shot,
yeah,
right?
I was gonna
I know
say.
Allison self-shoots a lot.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is yeah, that would be very difficult. Like all of the ways of doing it are not fun ways of doing it. So yeah.
Yeah. Also, another thing I had to say, very good job on the burning and dodging on your face. I think it's
I
really
think
good.
and Allison can correct me if I'm wrong. I think a lot of that was just even done with makeup. Like
Oh, really?
yeah, I
Like
think
that
Our
yeah.
gloss on the nose, forehead, and
Yeah.
lips, and
I
everything?
could be wrong on
Oh.
that, but like I still think there's probably some real solid dodging and burning, but I think it was also just a really solid makeup job as well. I could be
Mm-hmm.
wrong.
Yeah.
I love the colors in this shot, like the blues on the side of her face and the purples on the other side. It's just
Mhm.
a just an awesome look. I'm a sucker for like blues and purples to begin with, and just the way that it's lighting her face. This is like just awesome. Um, the probably the only thing that I shouldn't say only thing because there's a couple things I'm not feeling in this shot. The string lights, seeing the wire on them, just kind of the lines in the background, I'm not feeling. I actually think this shot might work better without the string lights.
And just keep the little cloud
Yeah,
texture, whatever that is.
I feel like the elements just a little bit too much. You've got enough going on with the light from the moon and the two colored lights that the added like little extra bit from the string lights isn't exactly like super helping the image. In fact, I think I don't necessarily mind the dots of if it were like bokeh out more, I think it could work, but like just that we can see the wire and there's just a bunch of vertical lines in the background because of it. Not a super fan of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Allison in the chat says it was makeup dodging and burning, so I believe that means that she did it with makeup and not in Photoshop.
Oh, I read that as makeup and dodging, but either one.
Oh no, she
Could have been.
did say makeup and dodging. I just can't read because I'm dumb. Yeah, sorry.
Because I'm a
Get it.
dumb idiot.
Get educated. Man.
Yeah, I really like the Ewok in the background of this photo.
Yeah, the Ewoks.
She shredded up the Ewoks to make the.
Yeah.
That's horrific.
So many Ewoks died to make this photo. The other thing that I was gonna say that is a little bit of a nitpick is, her front leg in this shot I just feel like is taking up a lot of space visually. I kind of wish like so her torso is going away from the camera and the legs coming towards. I kind of think this shot would work a little bit better with the legs going away from the camera. You know what I'm saying? What I'm putting down?
I mean, kind of. Well, I don't really see them coming towards the.
No. Like so she's angled with her
Oh,
like
you mean like
her.
so
She's on an angle, but
towards-
her leg, like her feet, are closer to the camera than her face
so
is.
yeah.
I
Like,
think
swing her body back.
Yeah,
Yeah, she would have to like swing her torso over,
Yeah.
or kind of just
Yeah, because I think her legs take up visually more space. I think that's the outfit adds to that illusion. Especially because you've got the black, which is super kind of slimming and takes up not a lot of space visually, and then the leg is so bright compared to that I think it ends up taking up a lot of visual space. So I think then if you had that kind of with that angle, so it could take up less visual space, that could help.
Yeah, and I guess the only other thing I can say is I think I'm a sucker for like crushed blacks and everything, but I think if the blacks were not as crushed here, I think it would have helped. Because I feel like the image is just a little like almost hazy, and I would like it to look a little clear. Just personally, I think bringing the blacks down a smidge would have added a little bit.
Yeah, just kind of did that in Photoshop. I think it just needs it just a touch. Like,
Yeah, just a touch, not like a lot, but I
yeah,
think the blacks are just a smidge bit too crushed to where it kind of like completely washes out like all
yeah. I
texture.
didn't necessarily agree with you until I quick did it in Photoshop, and I'm like, oh, I actually do agree. Yeah, totally.
Mhm.
Um,
Go ahead, Neil.
one thing I have to say that's really kind of it's just one nitpick is, so on her left leg, you just had this big patch of magenta light on it, and it just looks a little weird. Is that just me?
No, my eye keeps going to that.
Yeah,
Not intentionally. It's kind of
it's not
distracting.
a like a super super strong thing. But yeah.
All right, really all I have to say. Other than that, I mean, this is pretty solid for a self-shot photo.
Yeah, it still blows me away that you take most of your pictures. And
The
edit
other
them.
thing I would think is I feel like her head is just a little bit too high in the corner of the frame. I think if you
Oh,
kind of
because like
yeah, I think
bottom's cut off.
this frame, with her feet being cut off in the frame and her head being so close to the edge of the frame, I really like it compositionally, but I do think it just needs to be zoomed out a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Just a smidge.
Yeah. In case people didn't know, I'm just gonna repeat this out loud. The themed part of this critique was kind of upfront the first 9 photos. That's what we ended up getting submitted that for the theme, but we had more photos that were submitted that were outside of the theme. So in case you're confused why we're not doing more brotique photos, that is why.
There's not enough dudes.
Not
We need
enough
some more
not enough
dudes
bro
here.
photos. No. Yeah, just not enough enough for specifically submitted for that, which is fine. I think this works out fine. Other little thing that I like, and this is a small detail, but I just kind of dig it. I really like the one light that's coming through what I'm assuming is a cardigan, that she's like resting on. There's just one light that's shining through the holes of whatever like cardigan or sweater it is, and I really like that look. It's like right by the small of her back.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Actually, like because of the knit of the sweater or whatever, you can see the string lights
Yeah,
kind of
Yeah.
underneath.
yeah.
So it's like,
That's what I'm talking about. I just think that looks pretty neat.
Yeah, it is cool.
Yeah, Oki Cosby says that the string lights are also underneath the clouds. I think that probably is what's adding just a little bit extra glow and depth to them. So,
Yeah, I kind of noticed that because like right around the moon and some right in the back, you can kind of tell they're lit. They're glowing a little bit.
any other thoughts on this one?
Not for me. Touched on everything I was thinking of.
Cool. Let us go on to the next shot. This one is from Brett and Neil. You want to take us away on this one?
all right. Trying to think. I know I had something to say about this photo, this Widowmaker. I mean, wait. Yeah, it is Widowmaker.
Yikes.
Yeah, I'm blanking on all my Overwatch characters right now, even though I was like at BlizzCon. But I think it's a solid photo. I really like the color grading. You have this subtle sun flare at top. I can see there's a little bit of a
Yeah.
dust overlay.
I love this one.
Oh yeah, the sun flare is pretty cool. You have this hair flip. The one the nitpick that I really have with this photo would, I guess, be the expression on the cosplayer's face. It doesn't match with the actions kind of going on with the rest of their body, if that makes sense.
I have a hard time understanding where they're looking. I think that's part of it too.
That too. I guess it seems like they're just looking straight ahead, more or less. But yeah, they're actually looking straight ahead.
So here's the thing. I think they're looking at the same direction that their gun is pointing, but like to me, logically, with the wall being there, I feel like she's looking and shooting at a wall. Like
that too. Yeah, I can get that.
But that's and that might not be the case. That wall might end like right there, and it might make perfect sense in context of how where they were. But like as a viewer, I don't understand that, and I feel like she's looking at a wall.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly love this location. I don't know. I can't really agree. I don't mind her. I mean, I guess I wasn't. The first thing in my mind isn't thinking that, oh, she's shooting into the wall. I think honestly, like this is really, really, really well composed. Um, I don't think when I first saw it, I think she's looking in the direction where the gun's pointing, but
I mean, I agree. I think she's looking in the direction of where the gun's pointing, but I think the gun's pointing at the wall. So
yeah, I guess that's just something I didn't think of until you said it, but
yeah, it's not something that I think like within the first couple seconds of looking at the photo I read, but like after looking at it for a little bit longer, I was just like, oh, okay. I think I think what bothers me is this shot with her pose mirrored the other direction. I think works better. Especially because then
I can see that.
Then you wouldn't get the weird lighting on like her nose, because that's honestly what bothers me the most.
Yeah, I can see that.
I don't mind the kind of like angle cut lighting on the side of her cheek, although the lighting is totally blown out on it. So I would watch that. Like it's just pure white. Like
just kind of drop the highlight down. On that. I feel like most of my criticism is really with the pose. Because I feel like, I don't know, stick with me on this one. I think like half of her body is kind of at rest, and then the rest of it is an extreme movement. If that, you get what I'm like trying to get at? Because so when she's holding the rifle, like take like basically her torso and her head, like torso up to her head.
Yeah.
It seems like she's at rest. But then when you look at the legs and how they're angled, how she's like at this really low squat, and then her hair is like kind of flowing, it looks like there's meant to be a movement. Maybe I would like to see the rifle aimed up a little higher, like they're getting ready to aim down the sights or something.
Yeah, I can agree.
With
you having the rifle aimed, I think that would definitely put a little more action into the upper half of her body.
Yeah, because he even got this like slight Dutch angle in the photo,
which doesn't bother me at all, to be honest.
So it's really just a lot of like elements that I'm really like nitpicking at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think honestly the motion could feel a little bit better if she was acting like she was actually going to go and shoot. Like,
yeah,
I feel like her head looking and not her gun feels like it's about to be ready to be shot. Like, I mean,
yeah, it's almost there.
Yeah, like there's some weirdness to that. I mean, something we had talked about in a previous image. Okay, never mind. I thought it's hard to tell if there's trigger discipline going on right now. It's kind of dark in that area, and I can't really tell if her finger's outside of the trigger guard or not.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Okay.
There is trigger discipline there.
Okay, cool, awesome. But it just feels like, man, if she were going to be actively aiming, I think this would feel more powerful.
Yeah.
Something both of you brought up, and I mean, got to do those Dutch angles in the chat if you got them. But I know, David, you said the Dutch angle doesn't bother you, it doesn't necessarily bother me, but I also don't think it adds anything. And
I think it does. I think it adds a little bit more like something's going on here. It's not just like flat pose. I think if it was straight,
I don't buy
like
into that
if there
though.
was no Dutch angle.
I just I don't logically buy into that like as a concept. I don't think the angle adds any more movement to it because it's not like I think it would work if you shot this wider and were closer and then you had the foot like coming up closer into the frame and kind of utilizing that. I just don't think that's what's going on here. That said, I'm not trying to like harsh on this because I don't think it's hurting the photo either per se. I just think I would rather have it without, personally.
Well, we all know how you feel about Dutch angle.
I know I'm a Dutch angle hater.
Yeah.
No, I think honestly the Dutch angle would work a little bit better if you had like her foot coming out more towards the camera.
So
Like if it
like the
was a
shot was
wider
taken
and
a little
lower
bit.
shot.
Yeah. Honestly, to me, where Dutch angles hurt you more when you have a strong vertical lines and a strong like a very obvious horizon line. And what I mean by that is like you can see what is supposed to be level. I think Dutch angles work the best when that kind of aspect is removed or is not a strong part of the photo. At least that's my thought process. So once again, that is something I understand is a very personal opinion on Dutch angles. So take it or leave it there. I totally understand that is my own personal bias against Dutch angles.
Yeah. But to be honest, I guess whole thing in short, like as a whole, I
think
I really like this shot.
What's really selling it to me is the colors.
Yeah, the color grading here is freaking awesome.
Yeah, that awesome orange glow that you added in with the cool blue tones of her and kind of those blues in the shadow clashing with the warm highlights in the background. That's dope. I really like that.
Classic action movie color grading, orange and blue.
Yeah, you did a really good job. You could have even exaggerated that split toning. I don't know if you did, but a little bit more, I think.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good, but I do think you could also take it a little further too.
Yeah. I don't think taking further would hurt it at all.
Yeah. The other thing that I don't know, it's just me looking at it a little bit longer that feels there's two things that feel weird. It's the blue blob that's right by her head. I think that's probably something in the background, but like
yeah,
I don't know, it just feels weird to me, and it's probably not something I noticed until I looked at this image for quite some time. But
I
I'm
didn't notice
like
it until you just said it.
Honestly, I wish it was photoshopped out just cuz my mind goes like, what is that? Like what
or even just desaturate that thing so it's not blue.
Yeah. The other thing that's bothering me is if you follow her hair ends perfectly at this kind of like
with
vertical highlight blue line, which also is like okay, it just kind of continues in a weird way. Like
these are wicked nitpicky things.
Oh,
though.
totally.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna pretend like they aren't. They're super nitpicky. But that's something that my eyes also just like. But what's going on there?
Gotta make a drinking game out of these streams.
Oh, people already are doing it.
Every time we say nitpicky.
Oh, literally. There's ones for nitpick. There's ones for Dutch angles.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, totally. Like I'm sure. I don't know if Bobo's in the chat. I know. Well, Mel is always having wine during these critiques, so like I don't even know if she's just drinking game or she's just drinking wine, or and then Fluffy Fox Photography has also done this as a drinking game. So people are already way ahead of you there. Yeah, Bobo says way ahead of you.
Yep.
Honestly, we should have been drinking.
Man.
That's what I said.
Oh, you're saying us. us, like
Yeah.
live on
Like,
stream.
I'm saying
you know, like
everybody.
podcasts, they do like a drunk podcast, and it's like really funny.
This is gonna be a group activity.
We need to do a very specific drinking game one. Maybe January, something like that. Not we can't be Sarah and I, like the weakest drinkers in the world. I've literally never been drunk.
I am too. I never drink.
Yeah, and I don't drink at all, pretty much.
So I guess it's just me then.
Neil's like, well, guess I have to fill in for you losers.
Time to die.
Guess I'll die.
Guess I'll die now.
All right.
I guess we've covered everything on this photo.
Yeah.
Cool.
Definitely.
Let's move on to the next shot. Cool. This one is from the combo of Atelier Heidi and Pro Jared.
Wow, the world famous everyone.
The world famous everyone. Oh, it helps if I'm gonna start talking about it if I actually have it on my computer screen. I was like trying to critique it via like viewing it in OBS window. I'm like, seems like a bad way to do it. So I believe, and I don't remember, I don't have it pulled up. I believe that the candles were photoshopped in. So all the light, there's like no actual lighting from the candles. Oh yeah, I'm looking at it. Can confirm that the candle lights, like the candles weren't actually lit during this photo. So the lighting is all just I know they were trying to emulate the look of candlelight in this shot. Overall, I really like this like ghostly vibe to the shot. The colors, the kind of the super pale skin and the highlights works really well for that kind of ghostly feeling.
Mm-hmm.
I think that kind of the emulation of candlelight with the lights is, I think, solid attempt. I do think there's a bit of weirdness to it, just because I think like there's a light source coming from the right that is not the candle lights, and I feel like I want the candle lights to be the main light of this image.
Be the key light, yeah.
Yeah. And
same.
they're not, and like we're getting the like strong shadow on her from her nose from that like hard light. When I really wish we were kind of getting that more soft glow from the candles. I really dig the color toning on this shot though, and I think that the photoshopping in of the candles is pretty darn solid too. Like if I zoom in and really pixel peep it, I can see actually like the edge of where the candles were photoshopped in. There's a solid
I mean,
line.
honestly, if
But
I was
like
I didn't even know they were photoshopped.
I honestly don't think you could tell at 100% zoom, or not 100% zoom. If you have this zoomed out to fill your screen, like you're not going to be able to tell. I can only start to tell at like 66% zoom, and like it's only obvious to me at 100%. So like, and chat's probably like, I don't even know what they're talking about. I'll screen share so you can kind of see like there's just that hard line right there. It's pretty hard to see. That's why I feel like I'm harping on this. I'm trying not to harp on that because I don't think I think it was well done. The only thing that I feel like is a little weird to me is the look where the eyes are looking in the shot. They're looking kind of like up and off, and I don't know. I just found that a little weird. Like I just kind of don't understand the gaze in the shot. Am I the only one that feels that way on this?
No, I agree. I think her looking like straight ahead more so, or like over, not like at the camera,
Yeah,
but like
I could feel good about her looking straight at the camera or looking kind of off to the left. I think either or. I just think it's the kind of looking up and out that feels a little weird to me.
I guess another thing is that I don't think that key light was in a softbox.
Oh, it certainly
It
wasn't.
looks,
Like that
yeah,
light's just too hard
it's a
on the
little,
nose.
harsh.
Yeah. I don't know
Either
how
that or it was like really far away. Either one.
Yeah, I don't know how it was lit. But
Yeah.
I definitely want that light less bright though.
Agreed. Like that would be a good rim light, just to have a little bit of light on that side, just
Yeah,
so you can
actually,
like
I think
differentiate her from the background.
Yeah, 'cause
But
she does blend in a fair amount, which I actually don't particularly mind. In fact, I kind of wish the background was maybe even darkened a little bit, like kind of the vines. I wish were the highlights on those were a little darker.
mhm.
Um,
I don't know. I think overall I think it's another good shot.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think definitely at the base it's solid, and I think you guys nailed the vibe that was being aimed for with this shot. I don't necessarily know if the candlelight emulation was done super excellently, but I don't know if that bothers me all that much.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it's like not until you zoom it all the way in then you notice it. But I mean, if you're
Yeah.
on Instagram or wherever.
Yeah, I definitely think at quick glance you don't realize that those candles are not real and not affecting the light of the image.
Yeah. I think
Cool.
it's done pretty well. But yeah.
Any other thoughts on this one, or move on to the next one?
No, we're good. Solid
Cool.
photo, solid color grading.
Cool. Let's move on to the next shot. This one is from Stucky Media. And David, you are up.
Yeah. So overall with this shot, I think it's pretty good. I like the reflection on the wall. I actually, if I were to compose this a little different, I'd rather see her more in the middle, or even maybe just a little bit more over to the left of the frame.
Absolutely.
But other than that, I really can't complain about too much. Maybe something I probably would have done is like the railing um, on the way left side of the image, kind of like zigzagging and then going up through the middle. I would have personally edited that out because it's a little distracting. Um, Other than that, I think another thing could have just experimented with color grading, but it's a good shot.
Yeah, I agree with everything you say. I really like the reflection. I love the kind of, there's not a lot of color to the image, especially in the background, but then you've got that strong red color. And I really like that kind of the color tones that brings. I also wish that she was kind of on the right third of this image. Just think like there's just too much wall in this shot, and kind of like she's almost centered, but she's not. Like,
just barely.
Yeah.
And I even with her centered, I'm not a huge fan. I wish she was just on like the right third of the image.
Yeah, because the knee kind of would throw off the balance.
The one thing that I really know that I would like to see in this image is I want her left arm, the one that's closest to the camera, I want that up, and I want her elbow pointing back a little bit, because I think she's got a really nice curve going on in her back, but we've got that arm there and we can't see it, and we really need to see that negative space. I think that like instantly changes this pose to being a much better pose.
Yeah, agreed, 100%.
I personally, I don't know how they would do it. Maybe like shoot a little bit closer, but I would really like to see the photographer play with the reflection in the wall somehow. Like utilize more of that in the photo.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool now, but I do think there could maybe be even more to it.
Yeah.
Trying to think. I do wish we got maybe her like torso just turned a little bit more to us, and then her back arm is pretty much non-existent in the shot. Just so that we could bring maybe a little bit of her shoulder into the photo, and then like have her like her her right hand like resting on her leg so that we can bring that hand back into the shot.
And there's one more thing I'd mention too. This is just something where I think the key light is a little too
Strong.
like yeah, it's a little too strong. I think you not necessarily dim it down, but I think if you would have moved the flash further back, like up on the stairs, and have it kind of come not necessarily from behind her, but at an angle where you would see more depth on the left side of her face, I think would be a really cool dramatic lighting, especially with the like grimacing look.
I the other thing I'd really like in this image is I feel like I want to see like a rim light, but I feel like the location that you'd need to put a rim light in would be super difficult to achieve. So that's
Yeah,
why
you'd
I'm
have
like
to
a
like
little
hold
Mhm.
it
yeah,
above.
it would be a hard rim light to achieve. So that's why I'm
Yeah,
hesitant to be like, yeah, you need a rim light in this one.
yeah.
Um uh trying to think if there's anything else. I don't know. I think the light really plays nicely off of her cosplay though. Kind of the like
Yeah, because
pleather like material. It just looks really
Mhm.
good on it. I do the more I look at it though, the more I think like the highlights on specifically her skin just are a bit too hot.
Yeah.
bring him down slightly. Even
Yeah.
on some of the like the arm pieces,
Yeah, the like gray part
uh,
of the arm.
the
Yeah.
silver parts.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could be
Maybe
just brought down just a tiny bit.
even just not like adjusting the luminance of like the orange photo, I think would help that.
Yeah.
Just a tad.
Just a smidge. Cool. Any other thoughts on this one or should we move on?
Nope.
Cool. Okay, this is the final shot of the critique. And this one is from Umo Photo or Uriel, friend of mine. I think his first time submitting to the critique, so awesome, dude. Neil, you want to lead us off here?
Yeah, all right. Perfect photo for me because it's fate.
Oh Lord, I
Um,
didn't even think about that.
there's some fate photos. All right, right off the bat, I want to say like this is a very clean photograph. Um, it's very vibrant with the colors, and I really like that. Even though personally, I'm not a very like vibrant photo person. When it comes to yeah, so honestly, I'm just really gonna nitpick this one. I do think it's a pretty good photo, but I'm gonna nitpick the shit out of this one. Um, the biggest thing for me is with the cosplayer's pose is you have kind of the sleeve, the draping sleeve, the white part. It takes up so much of this, like the frame. It's a whole bunch of white space, and you don't really see much texture or like
Hmm.
folding in the
Yeah.
fabric, so it's just empty. So it's a bit distracting because honestly, when I first saw the photos, that was the first thing I saw, just the white sleeve,
Yeah,
and then I kind of had to like hunt around my eyes to figure
It
out the
it,
rest of
it
it.
definitely is distracting element for sure.
Yeah,
I think honestly, if you turned her torso a little bit more towards us, and then if she angled the sword so that she was drawing it less upwards and more outwards,
yeah,
um, I think that could remedy that quite a bit.
Because then have her arm lower too.
yeah,
Yeah, her arm's gonna be lower. Her torso is gonna be a little bit more towards us. I think the other problem is I kind of feel like her like neck is a little bit forward and kind of gives her like a little bit of her makes her look like her back is hunched a little bit.
yeah. Little
Um,
slouched.
Yeah.
yeah, and
Not too much
I
though. It's not
honestly don't
terrible.
know if that's her like even doing that. I think it might just be kind of how the camera angle's playing.
It also
But
might be the fabric because it's very
yeah,
loose
yeah.
fabric.
So, but that's something to pay attention to, and you know, posture is something that I feel like I constantly am trying to correct it with cosplayers because it's hard. So
It is. It's very
Yeah,
hard.
definitely with like characters like Okita. It's like I think that's Okita. or one of the
I love,
sabers. Whatever.
I love how
Honestly,
you're
it's just
into
like
Fate and you're just like, I don't even know what this
I
saber
love this
is.
photo because it's Fate. Wait, who is
I,
it?
lo- I love Fate.
I don't
But,
know which saber this is.
it's one of the sabers, but
I think it's Ogita's.
definitely want to. Yeah,
The
yeah, it
Sakura,
is.
yeah.
But I was just like, but definitely with photos like this, with characters like samurai characters and things like that, don't be afraid to like play with the posing or be a little, I want to say, animated, I guess, or like extra, just
Yeah.
to really sell the pose. Because this looks a little conservative, I guess.
I also
Is
think
one
that
way I would put it.
framing wise, I also think it's a little like too cropped in. Like the frame, like the space between the top of the frame and her head is just like a little too
It's a
tight.
little too close. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
I'd like it just zoomed out just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing is, I want to say bring down the highlights a bit. It's a little bright in some areas.
Especially, I think the background feels pretty bright.
Yeah.
Because
Plus
you
the
have the sun
leaf.
reflecting off the leaves.
Yeah, I super dig the colors. Like, man, the
I
amount
The
of
colors are great. I
yeah.
love the colors.
Yeah, especially because I feel like you actually nailed it. Like, you managed to get it during peak fall, which was super short lived this year.
Yeah.
Short.
So like that was timing wise super hard to nail pretty much
Yeah.
always, and this year was like a particularly bad year for it. So
Yeah, it really complements the cosplay.
what do you guys feel about the angle? Since we got another kind of Dutch angle in here.
So I feel like that ties into what I was saying before about the pose. I felt like if it was a more exaggerated pose, the Dutch angle would work, but because we have the cosplayer at this angle in particular with this big white sleeve sheet, it doesn't really do the pose any favor.
It's an interesting Dutch angle because unlike the other ones here, I feel like it takes you a while to understand that it's a Dutch angle. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
that's
no,
why
I think it's also it's also definitely because your eyes. I mean, after you see the white of the sleeve, your eye kind of follows up the arm and to the end of the sword, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would also actually like to see more of the sword. Honestly, I think that's another thing. Seeing more of the sword would help with the angle.
Well, that's what I think Andrew's saying. Have her turn her torso more towards the camera.
Yeah.
Lower arm. I think that would
yeah, and maybe have it where the the shot where the sword isn't pulled out as much.
Mm-hmm.
That way you don't have to fight against how that is affecting her pose.
Yeah.
I think if there's anything else I want to say about this shot. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else. Or
I don't have much to say.
Yeah, I do think.
Yeah,
I do think that I wish there was a bit more like dodging and burning on her face, specifically in her eyes. Her eyes are feeling just a little bit flat in this shot. I think you could help pop them just a little bit because like there is a catch light there is
yeah, there is a very small one, but
yeah,
it's there.
but like it's there, and because it's there, I feel like you can play with that, and I think that would work.
All right.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh well, actually,
just
which is interesting. I think which they did an extremely good job. There's just some spots like if you look at the fingers right on the underneath of the sword. I think they definitely completely edited the background.
You're right.
I don't think they edited it in, but I think they definitely probably brought the
that's a real good catch. I'll screen share that so you guys can see what we're talking about.
Honestly, what are we talking about?
Look at her super zoomed in on her hand by the sword.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
I think that's the mask of the color of like the color grade.
Yeah. So with that, pretty darn good color grade job.
Honestly, excellent job because I don't even know how I caught that.
Yeah, it's funny that like I feel like it's pretty much done really well around the entirety of the cosplayer. Like now that I'm really looking for it, there's some places that I notice
spots
it.
around the hair.
But
Yeah.
like, man,
But hair is freaking impossible.
Yeah, but there's really only some section. Like I would not have noticed those had you not picked up on the hand, and even then, like that was such a subtle detail. But
tiny, honestly, really, really good
Yeah.
job with that.
Hmm.
I wouldn't have known. I don't even know how I came across that, but
cool.
Yeah, that's just another thing you wouldn't even notice on Instagram or wherever.
yeah, exactly.
Cool. And with that, I think that wraps up the final shot of the critique.
All right.
Thank you both for partaking in my silly little brotique idea. It's awesome having you guys here. Super fun. Hopefully the chat enjoyed this as much as I did.
Whoops.
Whoa.
Andrew.
Oh Lord. It's been a long day, guys. Give me some slack.
Press F for respects.
Oh, type F in the chat.
It's not like this is.
Type F.
Everybody. Hashtag. What was the other thing? Something.
More boats.
More boats.
Also, e-box. Yeah, no, it's super fun having you both, even though you are both ridiculous and terrible. Yeah, no.
Rude.
It was super fun having doing this episode and kind of being like, haha, no Sarah for once.
For once, whoa.
For once.
Whoa.
No.
Finally, she's not here.
She's not even in chat to be like, what the fuck, Andrew? No, I'm
Yeah, she's looking at some BL or whatever.
Yeah, she's probably buying more fucking Dojin.
Honestly, what time is it even over there right now?
I don't know.
It's BL time, obviously.
Right, probably early morning.
Yeah. What is it?
It's too early for
hours?
BL.
I think it's 15
Bacon and
hours
lettuce.
difference, but I don't really.
Yeah,
something like that.
I honestly have no idea.
So I think it's like maybe around noon there.
Yeah,
Question
probably
mark?
close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Someone in the
whatever.
chat just said that. It's like, dude.
It's too early for BL.
I think
early for
Sarah would
BL.
argue there is no time that isn't time for BL, but
Wow,
that's besides
rude.
that's besides the point. So David, where can people find your work?
What do you mean? On like Instagram, Facebook kind of thing?
Like you
What do you mean?
You do
What are you talking
photography
about?
where people find photography, you do.
I mean, you can definitely find it on my hard drive. No, just...
My
I thought you were
external.
mailing that to me though.
No, it's just at Sono Photos on every platform, actually. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. But I really don't post on Facebook anymore, and I almost never post on Twitter, so at Sono Photos on Instagram is where you'll find pretty much everything.
And then Neil, where can people find you?
You can find my stuff on Facebook under Neil Bonabon Photography.
That throws me off
Mason's
every
car.
time because I type
Because
in
I
Mason
made that
Hikar
before.
and and I'm just like, where the fuck's his page? Did he delete it? And then I'm like, oh, it's Neil Bonabon.
Yeah. You can find me on Instagram under Mason Hikari and Twitter as Mason Hikari, but that's mostly shit posting.
Neil Cinnabon Malice. Oh my god.
Well,
Yep.
It's been an awesome time. Next critique is
was all
happening sometime this month, I would believe. Something that we mentioned. We were originally going to have a critique with Topher Oriole last month, but the flu decided to kick my ass. So we postponed that. Dude, if I had done a critique that night, it would have just been like a webcam setup, like over my bed with me being like
snot rocketing.
You should have had Sarah lead it.
But yeah, so that critique is we don't have a solid date, mostly because Sarah's in Japan, so it's been hard to plan things out past this. It's probably happening sometime this month. This month's a weird one because like Thursdays are difficult this month, so we probably won't do it on Thursday because next week I don't think we'll be well. Next week, I know I won't be available, and then the following Thursday is Thanksgiving, so I don't think most people would be available to watch it unless they're really fucking bored at their relatives. Like, I'm pulling up the critique on my phone. Screw this.
So tired of dealing with the in-laws.
Yeah,
No.
I wouldn't be available either way. So look,
Yeah.
I would imagine the critique's probably going to happen sometime, not
Eventually,
on Thursday,
in
but
the
sometime
future.
this month. We'll see. Thank you guys again for joining me in this. It was fun. Hopefully people enjoyed the theme. I thought it was kind of a silly way to do things. We will be doing more themes in the future. Hopefully people like that.
You should do a Christmas theme one around Christmas.
I mean, it's going to happen. Like that was like the
There
most
are enough
obvious
Christmas
theme.
cosplays.
Yeah, it was the most obvious one. So
Well, it
like,
says
yeah.
turkey cosplays for Thanksgiving.
Football only. There's only like one football anime in existence.
I mean, two,
That's
depending on
exactly
how
what-
you use the word football.
One American football anime.
And with that, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to our fantasy football podcast. I really hope you enjoyed all our sports analysis and take our advice and really use that when you're at the bar and all the bros are asking you about the footballs and you're like, oh, I watch this podcast.
Filters, man.
We know about that.
And cinematic color grading.
They'll look at you and be like, "Oh
ESPN, the
shit!
Ocho.
Yeah.
Oh shit! This guy knows his stuff."
Yeah, dude. They won't mess with you after that. Guaranteed.
Cool. Okay, it's time, guys. Thank you so much.
Football.
If you enjoyed it, consider giving a sub or a follow or
Give
anything.
us some money. Give us
Yeah,
some
yeah.
money.
If you enjoyed it, consider a donation too. Not an obligation by any means, but it helps a lot for me to keep things going because this is a lot of effort, and I'm not trying to be a little bitch when I'm being like, oh, pay me, but no, no. Especially if you have a Twitch Prime sub and you're not using it. Like, come on, man, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Money.
We need hats. Yeah, we need money for hats. We need hats money.
We need that money.
Okay, this is going nowhere at this point. So
The
like,
boat is actually sank at this point. So
yeah. So let's finish this the way that we ended the last stream that Neil was on by slowly disappearing into the beyond. Oh.
where you guys
Good night,
going?
everyone. Have a good rest of your evening, and we'll
Where are they going?
we'll see it sometime. I think. Okay.
You guys okay?
Oh god, that's hard.
You need
Oh,
to call
God.
911?
That's it. Bye, people.
back.
Call
Oh
911.
God.